Hi guys, today we're going to be looking at an Indian-made jungle green Battledress uniform, which was issued to both British and British Indian Army troops during the Second World War. There's a blouse and trousers, and we'll have a look at the blouse first and then take a look at the trousers. So, the jungle green uniform came about basically because of a lack of jungle uniform prior to 1943. British troops and British Indian troops fighting in the tropics in jungle environments wore khaki drill uniform, which is obviously a sand sort of colour, which does not blend in well with the jungle at all, even with heavy camouflage with the addition of foliage and so on. It's not ideal by any means. So a purpose dyed version of khaki drill components was produced. The trousers and blouse were also made in a khaki drill or khaki Airtex material. This uniform first appeared in 1943, and it is essentially a cotton version of the British Army's Battledress design, with obviously the high-waisted blouse and the high-waisted trousers, which the blouse buttons onto. The blouse is made of Airtex material, which, if I can get a close-up here, you can see. I've done a previous video on Airtex with Airtex clothing in them, but you can see the open weave. It's almost like football shirt material, and it's very breathable, so it's lightweight. The cut is very similar. You see there's the waist belt here, and it is worn high, just like the wool Battledress. The buckle here, attached to a little, obviously buttoned onto a little tab here, so you draw the waist in. Two pleated pockets on the chest. It can fasten to the collar, although these were generally worn open. And there's obviously epaulets on the shoulders here. And these were made in all sorts of little tailor shops in India. All sorts of people were fulfilling contracts making these. Obviously this is dyed Airtex material. The buttons are made of coconut husk, so obviously a locally procured material there. I'll have a look inside. I think this one, yes it does, it has quite a nice clear stamping on the sides here. So this is obviously typical Indian stamping. Unfortunately this is not particularly legible, but the other stamps here are, I think 12 is the size in the circle. I could be wrong. It fits me anyway. This is a recent acquisition. I do have another one, but this is the one that's in nicer condition, so I thought I'd use this one in the video. The blouse is another feature. I'll just flip this over so we can have a look at the other side. And as you can see here, obviously they're not under a fly front or anything, but all the buttons are exposed, but you have these buttonholes on the back where the blouse buttons onto the trousers in Battledress style as part of the Battledress design. So that's the blouse. Quite a simple garment made of jungle green Airtex, and we'll have a look at the trousers now. Here we have the trousers. Say they're Battledress style, Battledress pattern, if you will, in that they have both if we flip over the front here, the mat pocket on the leg with a single pleat, which is obviously a slightly different design than the serge version of these, but they then have the dressing pocket over on the side here, and the waist is closed. Obviously there's a button fly in here. All these are real tortoise or turtle shell buttons, little horn ones to attach the buckles at the waist here, again locally produced materials, with a double strap waist fastening, which is very common on tropical clothing of the period. Royal Navy tropical clothing had this kind of method of fastening the waist, and then the ends just tuck under these little loops here. So the double belt at the waist there. Quite a wide cut on the legs, so it's a little bit difficult to film these because they're quite voluminous. Quite a wide cut on the legs, obviously made in green drill material. Just flip them over, we can have a look at the back here. Unfortunately missing one of the buttons to attach the blouse. So there's a pleated back pocket here, external back pocket, which is slightly different from the serge version, which is an internal pocket, two slip pockets on the side here, one on each side. So yeah, basically following the British Battledress design, but made in this jungle green material. If I bring the blouse in again, just as a colour comparison, you can see the difference. Now these have obviously faded somewhat over time. However, the colour of this clothing often varies quite a lot. The Airtex tends to hold its colour better, so you tend to find these are darker green. But the trousers can vary, and it's a sort of greyish, brownish green. It's not a verdant green, if you will. So it's quite Indian clothing. The colour, the dye. Oh yes, that's a point as well. I'll just show you the 1944 date and the manufacturer and the waist there. Nearly forgot about that. So yes, Indian clothing's easy to spot with the little buttons. You also find these with a rough sort of white metal button in place of these. It's quite nice to have with the tortoise shoulder. It's very distinctive. You also find that the Indian clothing fitted with a sort of rough die stamped white metal button, and obviously these little coconut buttons and horn buttons in a similar pattern are used on shirts, the Battledress blouses, bush jackets, internals of monsoon capes and things like that. So it's a good indicator of Indian made kit. So there we have the Indian made jungle green Battledress uniform, which was first began to be produced and issued 43, was on major issue in early 1944, or large scale issue rather, was then used right to the end of the war, the stocks continued to be used after the war, and then the British, obviously we developed our own jungle green uniforms which replaced it in our service, but I believe this style continued to be used by the Indian Army for some time afterwards, so, or with a bush jacket as opposed to the blouse, which I don't have dates for, unfortunately. If I find out, I will put an annotation or put a note in the description of the video. So I hope you found that interesting, and until next time, bye for now.